Society urges the term deaf to be used. Malaysian men's badminton squad clinch gold. And Queen Elizabeth tests positive for COVID-19. Those are the headlines for tonight. Hello everyone, I'm Douglas Elliott and this is TVS Nightline. The bill to amend the title Chief Minister to Premier is not for personal gain of an individual, but rather a recognition that is stipulated in the Malaysian Agreement 1963. Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said this differentiates the status of Sarawak from other states when forming the Federation of Malaysia.
That is not self-glorification, but rather to impress that Sarawak is different from the other state in Federation of Malaya. Bukan untuk saya, sebabnya ini untuk Sarawak.
On February 15th, the State Legislative Assembly or DUN have approved the amendment to the State Constitution 2022 containing a clause to change the title Chief Minister to Premier with a 2/3 majority supporting the motion. Once effective, it will also change the title Assistant Minister to Deputy Minister. Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, Datuk Seri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, have stated the amendment will only take effect once it has been officially gazetted.
The state government, through the Ministry of Infrastructure and Port Development, is well aware of the problems faced by port users in Sarawak and is actively seeking means to address the issue. Its Minister, Dr. Amar Douglas Uga Umbas, said his ministry, together with the State Planning Unit, port authorities and operators, would convene a meeting soon to discuss the matter.
Among the chief problems was the long turnaround time for loading purposes, resulting in them incurring greater costs. The Deputy Chief Minister hoped that through the meeting, the problems would be resolved immediately, adding that Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg is also concerned of the problems faced. Uga also reassured port users that it was the stance of the state government to be pro-investors, noting that they play an important role to Sarawak as they provide job opportunities to the locals and at the same time contribute to the state's economic growth, and that the Sarawak government will continue to put greater emphasis on infrastructure and the ecosystem investors need. Earlier, Uga was met after visiting the Samalaju port in Bintulu on Saturday. During the visit, Uga also met senior representatives of 7 big companies operating in the Samalaju Industrial Zone, which use the port as their export exit.
A total of 45 development projects worth over 220 million ringgit would be implemented statewide under the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, Industrial Terminal and Entrepreneur Development or MINTRED. Its Minister, Dr. Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan said, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the ministry has managed to attain great performance the last 2 years.
Awang Tengah, who is also the Deputy Chief Minister, said there are 12 projects under construction at the moment, while a few others are in various stages of implementation. Awang Tengah added that in 2020, Sarawak is the second main investment destination in Malaysia and brought in 16 billion ringgit worth of investments for the manufacturing sector. Meanwhile, in 2021, the ministry netted over 7 billion ringgit in investments. Among the initiatives by the ministry included providing financial assistance to over 4,000 entrepreneurs, providing the Bazar Rakyat Online Sarawakku Sayang or BROSS platform, and coordinating 14 industrial vaccination centers to more than 34,000 workers in the manufacturing sector.
Following the implementation of Vaccinated Travel Lane or VTL between Malaysia and Brunei, Sarawak is eyeing its sights on Singapore next. State Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Minister Datuk Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah said Sarawak has made a request for VTL with the island state, adding that the implementation will help spur Sarawak's tourism sector stricken by the COVID-19 pandemic.
At present, VTL between Singapore and Malaysia is only with Johor via land VTL and Kuala Lumpur via air. However, Karim noted that the agreement can only be implemented after a thorough study has been carried out.
Since it involves Sarawak, I strongly believe they will get engaged with us on this also, because the first VTL, vaccinated travel lane, was between Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. Now we have got Brunei and Sarawak, which was just announced when Right Honourable Prime Minister went to Brunei. And I've already made suggestion that we would love to see VTL also between Singapore and Sarawak, whether Kuching, Miri. And definitely there will have to be a little bit of study before the approval can be given. But then we look forward to something like that.
He added the number of daily COVID-19 cases in Sarawak for the past couple of months has been low, and Sarawak is better equipped to handle the situation should a new wave occur. Earlier, Karim was met by reporters at the launch of Pekari's Ratan Valley Trail at Kubaria National Park on Saturday.
The Brunei-Malaysia vaccinated travel lane is set to revive and revitalize the tourism industry in Sarawak. Sarawak Tourism Board STB Chairman Dennis Ngau said the move not only benefits the local tourism sector but also invigorates the state's economy.
Dalam kita gembira sempadan dibuka, walaupun terhad kan, kita juga khawatir dengan penularan COVID yang berterusan, khususnya varian Omicron yang orang kata sangat senang untuk menjangkiti inilah. Saya yakin di pihak kerajaan kita, agensi-agensi kementerian yang berwajib sudah ada persediaan protokol dia, SOP dia yang perlu diikuti apabila kita membuka sempadan untuk orang luar datang ke Malaysia ni. Jadi saya yakin setelah pengalaman kita 2 tahun dalam pandemik ini, I think every day we learn how to defend ourselves lah. Jadi saya yakin sangat bahawa kita telah bersedia. Kalau tidak, Yang Berhormat Perdana Menteri tak mungkin akan mencadangkan ataupun berbincang hal ini dengan pemimpin negara luar lah.
To that end, STB said it will ensure that the local industry players are ready to welcome the influx of tourists.
Jadi kita akan terus berusaha memastikan Sarawak, khususnya Bandar Miri ataupun Bandar Limbang dan juga di Lawas akan senantiasa satu tempat yang selesa dikunjungi oleh para pelawat dan pengunjung daripada Brunei. Dan dari pengalaman kita yang sudah begitu lama bekerjasama dengan Brunei dan juga telah menerima kunjungan dari Brunei, begitu juga daripada Malaysia ke Brunei, kita lihat kerjasama dan kesahaluan itu sudah terbentuk begitu lama sekali. Jadi saya yakin sekarang kedua-dua negara ni hanya menunggu saja. Bila VTL ni bermula, akan kita lihat pergerakan ini keluar masuk di antara kedua-dua negara, khususnya di negeri Sarawak ni.
Prior to the pandemic, Bruneians were the most number of visitors to Sarawak, making up about 70% of tourist arrivals to the state. A strategic lab will be established to discuss more in-depth for the foundation of the new Parti Pusaka Bumiputra Bersatu or PBB Youth Wing, which will consist of youth aged 18 to 28 years old. However, its establishment will have to go several phases before it is presented to PBB's president, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. The party's deputy president, Dr. Anwar Rapai, said there is a need to have a clear guidance before establishing the new wing, such as its objective and criteria for incoming members.
Kita telah mengadakan banyak perbincangan dan juga mesyuarat, dan akhirnya kita bersetuju untuk mengadakan beberapa fasa sebelum penubuhan tersebut dapat dikemukakan kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Ketua Menteri dan seterusnya di-endorse ataupun dipersetujui di peringkat Mesyuarat Agung PBB bulan 6 nanti. Ini penting sebab sebelum apa-apa perubahan terhadap perlembagaan PBB, kita harus membawanya ke Mesyuarat Agung sebelum ROS membolehkan kita menubuhkan sayap tersebut.
Anwar made the statement during the fire prevention and awareness program in Cebu on Saturday. Now, the Sarawak Society for the Deaf, or SSD, urges the public and the media to use the term deaf instead of hearing impaired. According to the Society's president, Albert Wong, the term deaf itself does not denote a disability, whereas hearing impaired explicitly describes someone having a disability.
Albert calls for such motion because the deafs communicate mainly using the sign language and that the word deaf does not come off as offensive rather than the more commonly used term hearing impaired. He said this during a press conference after the closing ceremony of the Deaf Workshop Empowerment 2022. Also present during the ceremony was the Assistant Minister for Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing, Muhammad Razi Sitam, who stated that the ministry is planning to give early exposure to students on learning the sign language.
Pada dasarnya, di bawah kementerian pun memang ada menerapkan proses pengajaran dan pelajaran untuk bahasa isyarat ni daripada sekolah. Sebab itu di Sarawak, YB Menteri telah mengarahkan si didik untuk masukkan sekali sebagai yang paling awal yang berumur 3 tahun ke atas di bawah si didik.
The 3-day workshop was attended by 50 representatives from 20 associations and government agencies, including the Sarawak Deaf Sports Association, Deaf Media and Technology, and Sarawak Deaf Youth Society, to name a few. 6 main key areas were discussed during the workshop, including education, job opportunities, healthcare and welfare, accessibility, social recreation and culture, advocacy, and rights.
Less than a week to go before the Citrawarna Keluarga Malaysia 2022 event on Thursday, festival goers are reminded to abide by the standard operating procedures at the event. Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri said this is to minimize the risk of COVID-19 exposure among attendees.
Mereka yang nak pergi ke sana, ini bukan kemestian. Kalau mereka boleh buat saliva test untuk diri mereka sendiri, lagi elok. Lagi eloklah, tapi bukan kemestian. Sebab kita hanya memerlukan mereka ada QR code kita. Semuanya seperti mana kita pergi ke tempat-tempat lain, QR code ada, and then pastikan gunakan mask, and then sanitizer, and then penjarakan sosial itu dari segi tempat duduk. Tempat duduk disusun atur supaya every canopy itu dia terhad kepada bilangan tu saja.
Citra Warna Keluarga Malaysia 2022, to be held for the first time in Kuching, will take place over a period of 4 days beginning this Thursday, February 24 until February 27. Themed Tamasha Kepelbagaian Budaya, the event will be attended by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob. The program is also held to promote Kuching as a World Craft City by UNESCO under the field of gastronomy.
Right, a 64-year-old man braved 2 days of cycling from Kuching to Bintulu, showcasing his unwavering patriotic spirit. Muhammad Daud Mustafa decorated his bicycle with flags and flowers and went on his expedition in hopes to meet Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Daud, or as he would like to call himself Uncle Johnny, has definitely attracted the attention of many during his expedition.
Mau jumpa Abang Johari. Ada yang saya mau cakap gitulah, mau cakap sama Bang Johari lah.
His main motivation for his cycling expedition was to spread the message of love for the country and the state.
Kalau kita ada semangat, memang jadi. Kemana saja jadi. Tapi kalau kita coba-coba, itu belum pasti. Macam itu. Jadi kalau saya memang semangat kuat. Kalau saya jalan tidak gustan lagi. Lurus saja.
Uncle Johnny has made an exceptional name for himself from his expedition. Even so, he did not let the fame get to his head and make him arrogant, which is the ultimate advice he wants the younger generation to heed.
Jadi kita ada semangat lah. Kalau kita tak ada semangat tidak jadi. Jadi kita semangat kuat. Macam saya, kucing Sibu, Miri, kucing Syarikat tidak sampai 2 hari kalau sebetulnya. Tapi karena orang banyak berhenti kasih saya air, dia bergambar kan, saya on aja. Malu saya kalau direct. Nanti dia cakap pasti sombong. Saya tidak mau. Kalau saya kaya pun tidak mau sombong saya. Apalagi saya miskin. Macam itu lah. Jadi saya on aja.
Uncle Johnny also shared the tremendous change Sarawak is currently undergoing, especially with many roads having been upgraded, which will also ease his future expeditions. A 7-year-old boy was found drowned after a tragic incident in a swimming pool at a resort in LUNDU on Saturday. The boy was found unresponsive by members of the public at around 9 a.m. LUNDU District Police Chief DSP Demetrius Lawton said a distress call was made at around 11:18 a.m. According to reports, the victim was said to be swimming in the swimming pool with his siblings and was accompanied by his mother. At around 9:30 a.m., the victim was found drowned in the pool by members of the public who were also swimming in the pool. After the boy was pulled out of the water, his mother quickly performed a CPR, but to no avail. The victim was then quickly rushed to LUNDU Hospital. However, the deceased was pronounced dead at the hospital due to drowning. The police are still investigating the case. Multi-system inflammatory syndrome, or MISC, may occur in children below 18 years old who are infected by the COVID-19 virus. Such critical conditions may result in inflammation of internal organs such as the heart, lungs and brain. To this, the Health Director General, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, said these children should be inoculated with a COVID-19 vaccine to prevent serious complications. Nur Hisham disclosed that a total of 174 infections amongst children under 18 suffered MISC from the period of June 2020 to December 2021. Of the total, 25 cases involved children below 1 year old, 38 cases from children below the age of 5, 64 cases to those aged under 9 years old, 36 cases involving those under the age of 12, and 11 more cases affecting 12 years old and above. To date, 7 deaths were accounted to MISC following COVID-19 infection. Nur Hisham also stated that children are also at risk of getting long COVID. Therefore, he advised parents to reduce the probability of their children being infected through vaccination and self-discipline. Now on to some sports development as the Malaysian men's team clinched their maiden Badminton Asia Team Championships or BATC title with a 3-0 win over defending champions Indonesia on Sunday. Malaysia's win over Indonesia's second stringers dashed their arch-rivals' hope of securing their fourth straight Badminton Asia title since the tournament began in 2016.
In the opening match, Malaysia's All-England champion Lee Zijia got off to a rocky start as he lost to Chico Aura Dwi Wardoyo 14-21 in the first game. Playing in front of a 200-strong home crowd at the Setia City Convention Centre, Zijia stepped up a gear with a series of fiery attacks, which saw the world number 7 take a 16-6 lead over the 23-year-old Indonesian before sealing the second game at 21-12. In the rubber game, Zijia proved too strong for Chico, drubbing him 21-10 to deliver the first point for Malaysia. In the next match, Tokyo Olympics 2020 bronze medalists Aaron Chia and Soh Woo Yik had to slog for 56 minutes to beat Leo Rolly, Fernando and Daniel Martin, who are ranked 28th in the world. The world number 7 Aaron and Woo Yi lost the first game 17-21, but recovered to win the second 21-13. The Malaysians clinched the nerve-wracking rubber game 21-18 to put Malaysia 2 up. Young shuttler Ng Ziyong then rose to the occasion to seal the championship point for the hosts. The 21-year-old Ziyong put a sublime performance as he subdued the world number 90 Ihsan Leonardo Emmanuel Rambe in straight games. After taking the first game 21-14, Ziyong kept up the momentum in the second before delivering a powerful smash to wrap up the match 21-15 and crown Malaysia as the new king of Asia. It was a sweet revenge for Malaysia as they lost 1-3 to Indonesia in the 2020 final in Manila, Philippines.
Meanwhile, Indonesia emerged victorious in the women's final for the Badminton Asia Team Championships 2022 after beating South Korea 3-1. This is Indonesia's first title from the tournament since it was first held in 2016, while South Korea settled for another runner-up finish similar to the performance in 2020.
Indonesia had a head start through their 2017 World Junior Champion Gregoria Mariska Tunjung beating Sim Yoo-jin within 26 minutes, scoring 21-9 and 21-10. During the first double match, South Korea bounced back with their main doubles pair, Baek Hana and Song Seung-yeon, where the match lasted for 1 hour and 15 minutes against Febriana Dwi Puji Kusuma and Amalia Cahaya Pratiwi. The South Korean pair won 21-15 and 21-14 during the first and third sets. Indonesia then regained their momentum during the third game, where Putri Kusuma Wardani defeated Lee Se-yeon 21-10 and 21-18. The final match then saw Nita Violina Marwah and Lani Tria Mayasari, whom were neck and neck with their rivals Kim Min-ji and Park Min-jong during their first set, 23-21. However, they were able to dominate the South Korean pair during the second set, winning 21-11. Indonesian doubles team coach Prasetyo Restu Busuki was thrilled with the outcome as it had surpassed the team's initial target of reaching the Final Four.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, Britain's Queen Elizabeth has tested positive for COVID-19 and is experiencing mild symptoms but expects to continue light duties this week, Buckingham Palace said on Sunday. Early this month, Prince Charles, the heir to the throne, pulled out of an event after contracting coronavirus for the second time. A palace source said Prince Charles had met the Queen just days before. Buckingham Palace added that the Queen would continue to receive medical attention and will follow all appropriate guidelines. The health of the Queen, the world's oldest and longest reigning monarch, has been in the spotlight since she spent a night in hospital last October for an unspecified ailment. She was then advised by her doctors to rest. Elizabeth on Wednesday quipped to members of the royal household that she could not move much as she carried out her first in-person engagement since Charles tested positive. As Storm Eunice battered the United Kingdom, thousands of viewers worldwide tune in on a live stream to watch planes land at London's Heathrow Airport amid the high winds. As millions of people across the UK were told to stay home as the storm hit the country on Friday, one YouTube channel has been going viral for capturing and commentating on planes trying to land in the storm. The live stream channel Big Jet TV is run by aviation enthusiast Jerry Dyer, which regularly live streams airplane landings. Over the course of the weekend, the channel has drawn nearly 7 million viewers. Authorities have issued the first ever red weather warning for London since the system was introduced in 2008, with winds of up to 100 miles per hour were reported. Although Eunice was not a hurricane, winds would reach hurricane force level. Storm Eunice, which began in the central Atlantic and spun up towards Europe, posed a danger to life, Britain's meteorological office said. And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. For the latest development, head to our website TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media. Once again, I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you and have a pleasant week ahead.